was the most important for that scene, but that was a freaking pain in the ass to do that. So another thing that they would do is this was letterboxing. You get the complete screen, but you get a black bar on the top and bottom, and that is the black bar on the top and bottom was just lost information. It was just wasted real estate because what they wanted to do is make sure that you got the full scene on a square TV, which normally is not possible.
And usually those are for really wide panoramic shots that the director just saw as, I need this whole thing in the look of the film.
Yeah, there was a couple of also if you have two, there was a good example that was in some of the Raiders of the Lost Ark movies where they were zooming in on there would be two actors. Well, in this instance it was Harrison Ford and freaking the guy who played James Bond. What's his name?
Timothy Dalton.
No, the original one. The guy's got the heavy.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery.
Yeah, Harrison Ford and Sean Connery were. I think it was like in the third one.
Sean Connery would slit your neck for saying his thing is Irish.
Oh, what is he, Welsh?
He's a Scot.
Ah, son of a bitch. Well, Scots and Welsh. Scots, Welsh, all freaking same. Anyway, it's like Canadians. I think I know freaking. Anyway.
Actually, you know what's the funniest thing about that?
Huh?
If you go back to the Highlander movies.
Yeah.
He goes into the Highlands as a Spaniard.
Oh, yeah, that's right, huh? He's a Spaniard.
But he's actually Scottish.
Scottish, yeah. So anyway, there was a couple scenes where they were looking, Sean Connery and Harrison Ford were looking at were talking to each other face to face, and the shot, one was on one side of the screen, one was on the other. Well, the problem is that when you start chopping, you either abnormally crop out, so you'd only get like half of their face, which would look kind of freaking weird, or you would have to pan from one side to the other, hoping that you didn't pick up like the nose of the guy on the other side of the screen. So if you slid the frame all the way to the right to pick up Harrison Ford, you would hope that Sean Connery didn't lean in so far that his nose or his the front of his face encroaches into that scene, because it would look freaking weird.
Right.
So what they did was they letterboxed it. They letterboxed the top, and they would do this. Sometimes they would do it later on. They did it for the whole movie, but initially they just did it for imperatives, for scenes that were like that. But yeah, now we don't even worry about that. And actually, if you like go on like a Roku channel or something, and you find like old TV, like I was watching Chips. I was watching that scene where Danny Bonaducci, well, not the scene where Danny Bonaducci and Erik Estrada, but Erik Estrada and that crazy freaking fighter,
Larry Wilcox.
Yeah. Well. So Erik Estrada, they're doing some karate stuff, and it's perfectly square. My TV is, it's a modern TV,
right.
But everything. So the right and the left are cropped off.
I was gonna say you got the crop marks on the outside edges.
Yeah, it's the opposite of what it's, because it's a shift from a square format to a widescreen, as opposed to a widescreen to a square format. If you do it from film to square, you have to, if you want the full size, you have to crop the top and the bottom. That's why if you go to Instagram, well, they have a different they have different requirements now, but before, Instagram photos had to be square, 1-to-1. And so when you put them on there, if they weren't square and you wanted the full picture, the top and the bottom would be letterboxed, which is, So, but people don't understand that. Go ahead.
I just recently watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine. I binge watched all 7 seasons.
Oh, jeez.
All 7 seasons were in that exact same format, and it was like difficult for me to sit through. I was like, ugh.
Oh, it was a square.
Ah,
It was
yeah,
1-to-1. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, it's kind of tough, but it poses the same problem when you're trying to if you're trying to move a vintage TV show like Knight Rider or Chips or Emergency 51 or anything like that. I mean, because for a long time, I mean, for many freaking years, many decades, TV was square, 1-to-1. It wasn't until just maybe the last 15 to 20 years, maybe. I don't even know the date, but it couldn't have been more than 20 years where the widescreen is the thing. That's the way it looks. Yeah, probably about 20 years. So there's a huge backlog of television and different medium that or media that is shot in a square format, the 1-to-1 format. Plus, I don't even know, like when the silent movies came out, I don't even know what the aspect ratio was there. There probably wasn't. They
yeah. I have
probably
no
didn't know.
idea.
Yeah, you probably have to check that
Uh,
out because actually I find a oh, here it is. Oh crap! I'm talking and I'm like looking right at it. I didn't even notice it. But I'm on the wiki and they're talking about film aspect. It says during the silent era, aspect ratios varied widely from 1-to-1, which is the standard TV show, so that works fine,
right.
all the way to the extreme widescreen of 4-to-1 polyvision. 4-to-1.
Shit.
Dude, that's like, yeah, that would be freaking crazy.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Okay, without looking it up,
yeah.
without
Okay,
looking it up,
all right.
we're gonna run into some trivia since you brought up the goddamn name of the show.
Okay.
I have not seen the show since it was on TV running as new episodes. But I watched it so much that I still remember the characters' names. Emergency 51, name the two characters.
Yeah, Roy DeSoto and
Yep.
shit, I know Roy, but I can't remember the other guy.
Johnny Gage.
Johnny Gage. Yeah, it was Randolph Mantooth. Randolph Mantooth. That was Johnny Gage, right?
Randolph Mantooth. The other guy actually ended up being a bigger actor.
Yeah, he did a lot of work. Mantooth.
Kevin Tighe.
Kevin
Kevin
Tighe.
Tighe.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Tighe was actually in Reefer Madness.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on. Okay, for those of you who don't know Reefer Madness, let me make sure before I'm talking about Kevin Tighe and making fun of him, because here's the thing. Okay, so Reefer Madness back in let's see, where is it? Reefer Madness.
Had to be the late 50s, early 60s.
Oh, holy crap! Oh, well, okay, yeah. Okay, I'm on the wrong film. Apparently, there was a movie called Reefer Madness, which was originally called Tell Your Children, The Dope Addict, Doped Youth, Love Madness. It was a 1936 propaganda film, but there was a new one. Yeah, they made one in the 36. They were smoking. Well, okay, here's the thing. There was a story saying that Jazz grew up on heroin, and Blues grew up on reefer. That's why when you hear Champagne Blues, she brings me champagne when I'm thirsty, she brings me reefer when I want to get high. They smoked a lot of dope back then, but I did not know there was one that early. The movie we're talking about had to have been in the 50s or something.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I can only find the 1930s one. Oh, well, I know what to do. We'll just look for Kevin Tighe. I'm like 90% sure. Actually, Emergency 51 used to be called Emergency. That was it. We called it Emergency 51 all the time. Yeah, but it was actually Emergency with an exclamation point. Okay, here it is. Kevin Tighe. Oh, that's why. Because I spelled his name wrong. All right, so we need to find this. Okay, yeah. Okay, so where's the cast? Okay, there it is. So Kevin Tighe. Okay, so let's see. Kelly Brackett, Robert Fuller, Julie London was in that show. Bobby Troop.
Oh yeah, she was.
Yeah, sure shit, she was. Randolph Mantooth as firefighter paramedic Johnny Gage. Kevin Tighe as firefighter paramedic Roy DeSoto. Let's see. Chet. Tim Donnelly as Chet. Marco Lopez, Mike Stoker, Dick Hammer, John Smith. John Smith as Captain Hammer. Let's see. What else do we got? I don't recognize anybody else, but we want to check out Kevin Tighe.
Actually, I was going to say, you know what other actor from those fucking cheesy TV shows actually shows up a lot in movies?
Huh.
Is, and in TV shows, in ships, their dispatcher, the captain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He shows up in a shitload of stuff, man.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's make sure we're checking. I thought that, okay, well, he's in this one. Tighe's in this one in 67 called Narcotics, Pit of Despair. And I'm thinking that might have been.
That's probably it. I know there were a bunch of movies called Reefer Madness.
Yeah, it must have been. Oh, jeez. I thought he was in the very famous.
I'll be honest with you. I think Reefer Madness is a compilation.
Oh, of different. Oh, okay. Maybe it's not even
of different propaganda films.
Yeah, this was a 67. Yeah, Kevin Tighe. Let's see. Yeah, it's Kevin Tighe getting high, smoking dope, and then all of a sudden he turns into a bad boy. he turned into a low life drug dealer. Oh well, that's Kevin Tighe. So anyway, we totally freaking got off again. But what I was going to say about the aspect ratio, not the aspect ratio, but the lens distortion, is that much like you can't put a widescreen film on a square TV. Well, you can, but you have to letterbox.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. If you've ever watched some of the old Chinese martial arts movies, Run Shaw, and the Shaw Brothers productions and all that, a lot of times in the beginning or in the end, especially at the very end, when the hero, whoever it is walking away, you'll see a really tweaked out, stretched, tall appearance. Right. And the reason why is because instead of letterboxing, they changed they stretched it. I don't know how the hell they did it. Probably with some kind of lens or whatever. But they would stretch it. And the reason why they did that is because. Good. Oh, I was going to say
John Ford was famous for doing that as well.
Yeah, you would see that. That's another thing. Yeah, you would see that at the end of a lot of westerns, because what they're doing is they want you to see the horizon, which is usually very wide, and also they'll stretch the final credits from one end of the screen to the other in the movie. And in the theater it's fine, but once you try to do it on TV, it doesn't work because what we said. So either you letterbox it, or you have to stretch it, you have to distort it, and so. What we're looking at when we're using a wide-angle lens is that kind of distortion. We can't letterbox. You can't letterbox on a lens. It doesn't make any sense. It wouldn't work.
Well, you can. You just got to put tape over the lens.
You would, but that's like when you buy one of those point and shoots that tells you it's a panoramic film, and what you find out is that it's actually because if you were to shoot a camera that's a panoramic. What you would do is it wouldn't fit on a 35 millimeter frame of film. It would be stretched to probably, a wider aspect ratio, probably about 1.5, even to 1 3/4. But so what people were doing is companies were doing is they give you a camera and they tell you it was panoramic, but what it actually wasn't doing that. So what it was doing was it had a mask that letterboxed the top and the bottom. So when you sent them out and you got them returned. Either the lab, if they were willing to do it, would trim your print and put it on a panoramic and make a panoramic print out of it, or you would get back a standard size print with black bars on the top and the bottom. So,
Okay.
well, we'll